From the Rogers Centre in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, we welcome you to opening night 2013 as the Cleveland Indians invade Toronto to take on the Blue Jays. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. These two teams both have new managers. They've both
of Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are Ohio.
Baseball, the great American game. A game rich in tradition and history. A game that has brought fathers and sons together for over a century. Nowhere is that more evident than in Cleveland. And now one of its own takes the helm of the tribe. Terry Francona, the son of former Indians All-Star Tito Francona, will guide this year's team into a new era of baseball. Faces have changed throughout the roster, and so have expectations for the 2013 season. So gather your family, settle in, and watch a new tradition of Tribe Baseball next on Sports Time Ohio.
From the Rogers Centre in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, we welcome you to opening night 2013 as the Cleveland Indians invade Toronto to take on the Blue Jays. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. These two teams both have new managers. They've both remade their rosters, and they both have sky-high expectations coming into this 2013 season, Rick.
Well, they did a great job in the offseason as far as both general managers go of both teams. But when you look at the Indians, they added personality. With Nick Swisher, he was the first big sign switch hitter. He was going to play right field. No, he's playing first base because they signed Michael Bourne, who was a great addition. He's going to add speed. Then raw power, you come right here from the right side. They are no longer a dominant left-handed hitting ball club. Michael Belis is going to get his at-bats. They did a terrific job. You can't forget about Drew Stubbs and also Brett Myers, who's going to be the number 3 man in the rotation. But Terry Francona, they had a great spring. These guys are coming, looking forward to the season this year, and it should be a lot of fun to watch these guys get after it.
Terry Francona says, we believe we are a much improved club. Just how improved are we? We're going to start finding out here tonight. Opening night, Indians and the Toronto Blue Jays. And the Blue Jays, they may have remade their team even more than the Cleveland Indians in the offseason because they went out and completely, I mean, it's a makeover from a year ago.
It really is. The general manager here did a terrific job, and it was that trade with the Marlins when they were unloaded all that money that they signed last year with Reyes, Bonifacio. They got Josh Johnson and Mark Burley in the one trade, which adds a lot to the ball club. But then they added R.A. Dickey, Cy Young of last year from the National League, and then they signed Milky Cabrera, the controversial guy that had the problems last year out in San Francisco. So they really made over their team. This is the first year they've ever had a payroll of over $100 million. So they have very high expectations, but as we all know, doesn't matter how much money you pay. It happened to the Angels last year as well as the Marlins. You still have to win ball games.
It's been 20 years for the Blue Jays since they last won the World Series, got into the playoffs, but they expect a World Series or bust this year here in Toronto. Well, with the Blue Jays, 4 new players in their lineup, 4 new pitchers in their starting rotation from a season ago. One of those pitchers is R.A. Dickey, who will match up tonight against Justin Masterson, who makes his second consecutive opening day start for the Tribe. We'll break that down when we continue from the Rogers Center in Toronto right after this. Eagerly anticipating tonight's first pitch between the Indians and the Toronto Blue Jays, getting ready to lift the curtain on the 2013 season. Back here, Matt Underwood, Rick Manning, we're going to talk about the pitching matchup tonight. Justin Masterson, who started on opening day a year ago against this Toronto Blue Jays club in Cleveland, and Robert Allen Dickey, he of the knuckleball, will start tonight for Toronto.
Well, when you look at Justin Masterson, he has a good history against the Toronto Blue Jays. Unfortunately, last year it wasn't a win because they came up in the 9th inning to tie the game. They ended up playing 16. But if Justin Masterson comes back, stay between 92 to 93 miles per hour, let that sinker work, he's going to be very good. He's got to step up this year. They're looking for big things from him. And, of course, R.A. Dickey, this guy's 38 years old, the only knuckleballer to ever win the Cy Young Award. They're looking fortunate, very forward to seeing him pitch out here because he's in a controlled environment with this dome, and I think he likes that atmosphere.
Yeah, he had a little testing session the other day here, and a little devilish smile on his face afterwards, so I think he's expecting big things from his knuckleball here tonight, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see how the Indians hitters react to Dickey and the knuckler. We're just about ready to get it underway tonight here in Toronto. We'll be back with tonight's first pitch between the Indians and the Blue Jays coming up next. The boys of summer are back indeed, and tonight we greet you from the Rogers Center in Toronto, Canada. Indians Blue Jays just about to get underway. R.A. Dickey making his final warm-up tosses in the Blue Jays bullpen, while Justin Masterson continues to ready in the Tribes bullpen. What an atmosphere we have. It'll be close to 50,000, if not more, jammed into the Rogers Center here in Toronto, where expectations are literally through the roof for this ball club here north of the border.
You know, they really are. Not just Toronto. I think all around baseball. You know, for the American League East, if you're going to compete, they feel like that now is their opportunity that they can take over the Yankees, the Red Sox, who finished last year. Even though Baltimore made a run in Tampa, they feel really good about their situation and where they are at this year. And John Gibbons, a new manager. He managed 4 years here prior to this, retaking the job. And I think it was a little bit of a surprise for a lot of people in Toronto that they renamed him manager here.
Never thought he'd find himself back here managing again, that's for certain. See Lonnie Chisenhall getting ready now for the Indians. All right, let's take a look now at our keys to the game. And for the Indians, they're a team with speed now, and a big reason for that is Michael Bourne, who leads things off.
Well, if with a knuckleballer, you know, you want a shorter swing. You don't want long swings, and if you can get guys on base, they may be able to run on them. And if you can run on the knuckleballer, it'll put pressure on that catcher. It certainly will help. You have to remain patient, make him get it in the strike zone, because you may get an occasional fastball from him. If he falls behind 2-0, 3-1, he'll try to sneak that fastball by you. For Justin Masterson, it's going to be his velocity. Is he going to be getting geared up to 94, 95, 96 when it straightens out, like him at 89 to 92, where that ball sinks and moves? And the key for him tonight will be getting left-handed hitters out, because they have 4 switch hitters in their lineup.
Rick, there are probably as many theories on how to hit the knuckleball as there have been players in the history of Major League Baseball.
Right.
With more on the Indians' approach, though, here tonight, let's go downstairs. We're joined by Katie Witham, who will be with us all season long here on Sports Time Ohio. Katie?
Hey, Matt, Rick, you're right. And, you know, Rick just touched upon it a little bit, how to approach R.A. Dickey and this knuckleball. I had a chance to catch up with Indians hitting coach Ty Van Berkelio. He told me exactly what you said, Rick. Shorten up that swing and attack the baseball. Now, with R.A. Dickey, he throws more of a darting ball versus one that flutters that you've seen sometimes from knuckleballers. He said you got to look for one that's belt high. The thing that they have that makes it a little bit more predictable, guys, is the fact that this game we've got the dome on. It's indoors, so you do not have that wind factor that not only helps Dickey be a little more controlling when he's out there, but it also helps the batters kind of expect what's coming at them, kind of.
Yeah.
They just don't know how much it's going to move, Katie. That's what they're hoping for.
And neither does that guy right there. And that, to me, that's the most fascinating thing about the knuckleball is you listen to R.A. Dickey, and he'll tell you, look, there are sometimes I don't know what it's going to do pitch to pitch.
But the thing of it is, where he varies from the other knuckleballers is he throws his a little bit harder, so his ball can stay up. A lot of times with the slow knuckleballers, you'll say, when it's high, let it fly.
Right.
Well, sometimes he can throw the knuckleball by you waist high because it's thrown a little bit harder than the other guys that have thrown it before.
That's something that he's actually worked on, is that high knuckleball, throwing it with a little more velocity. And he's had a lot of success, obviously. The reigning National League Cy Young Award winner traded here in the offseason over to the Toronto Blue Jays. And Toronto takes the field with their new look lineup and their new knuckleball pitcher, R.A. Dickey. Toronto, a team that a year ago won 73, lost 89. Here at home, they were 41-40, but on the road they were 32-49. Let's take a look now at the Indians starting lineup. It's presented by Progressive, making it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. Michael Bourne leading it off, and the switch hitting is Drupal Cabrera, followed by Jason Kipnis. And Nick Swisher, the switch hitter, will bat cleanup, followed by Michael Brantley. And then Carlos Santana, another switch hitter. Then Mark Reynolds, big right-handed power. Lonnie Chisenhall hitting 8th. And Drew Stubbs, who can really fly, will bat 9th.
And R.A. Dickey making his first major league start on opening day. So that's hard to believe. But you can see his numbers from last year. A brilliant season, 20-6 and 273 ERA, the 233-plus innings. Only walked 54 and 230 strikeouts. This guy came out of nowhere. He's really a great story. We will talk more about him as the game goes on. but it's going to be fun, and they're excited to have him up here in Toronto. Let's set the defense behind Dickey this evening. And it looks like this. In the outfield, it's going to be Milky Cabrera in left, Colby Rasmus in center, Jose Bautista in right, Mycera Sturris at third, Jose Reyes is at short, Emilio Bonifacio is at second, Edwin Encarnacion is at first, with JP Arancibia behind the plate.
Jeff Nelson, the crew chief, to call the balls and strikes tonight. Kerwin Danley is at first, Lance Barksdale at second, Vic Carapazza is at third. The build-up, the anticipation, it's all come to this as Michael Bourne steps in for the Indians. R.A. Dickey winds, and the 2013 season is underway as Bourne looks at one up and in. It nearly nicked him.
Yeah, that'd be a good one to take, just to get on base. But you can see the movement right from the very first pitch.
And that one dipped down out of the strike zone. It's 2 balls, no strikes.
You know, another thing we got to watch for is that guy in blue behind the plate, because they don't have any practice on the knuckleball, calling balls and strikes.
Bourne wraps it up the middle, but right there to gobble it up is Emilio Bonifacio, and Bourne is out number 1. So Michael Bourne wasn't even going to spot him a strike. He got one in the zone. He lets it rip.
Yeah, as a hitter, you don't want to spot a knuckleball or a strike. If you think you can put it in play, you need every swing you can get.
There's Dribble Cabrera in the 2-hole. Batted .270 a year ago with 16 homers, 68 runs batted in. And he looks at a ball inside. A called strike evens the count at 1-1. Back over the screen.
There's
Good
the
rip.
one upstairs
Yeah.
that's elevated. You want to take a good swing at, and he just fouled it off. He had a pitch to hit right there.
Down to the count, a ball and 2 strikes for Cabrera, and that's up high out of the zone.
Almost looked like a fastball, didn't
It might have been. Though I thought he had a little more velocity. There's the high knuckler that we talked about just a few moments ago.
Yeah, good one to lay off. A lot of times, a couple of years ago, Cabrera, one of those guys, you see it is a knuckler. He would like to swing at that high pitch, but he laid off that pitch, checks his swing on that one, and stays alive. You know, he only had 2 starts in spring training, and Dickey did, but he also started 2 games in the WBC. So he got his work in.
It's
That's
low.
a good eye. Very nicely done.
Cabrera walks with 1 out here in the first. That one had some wicked movement.
Yeah.
But darting down out of the strike
You
zone.
see, he wanted to go after it and chase it, and then all of a sudden he just lays off of it. Very good at bat, because take your walks when you can and get the base runners.
Jason Kipnis hitting third with Cabrera aboard at first. 1 down here, top of the first, just underway in Toronto.
That's what puts the pressure on the catcher now, is that knuckleball with men on base. And Arancibia, you know, originally they didn't plan on him catching him, but he did catch him in the WBC, did a nice job, and they just felt like, okay, you can go ahead and do it. He's their everyday catcher to begin with. Henry Blanco, their other catcher that they brought over, you know, to catch.
Pitch outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Does Dribble Cabrera 9 stolen bases a year ago. Kipnis let her rip, but the bat was the only thing that went flying.
He would probably like to get that one back. It just takes off. New bat, not enough pine tar, and it just flies out of the hands of this guy. They're going to give him another bat. Get the gamer back, and you'll give him a batting practice bat or something. There's the knuckleball. You can see no spin whatsoever, and that hand just comes off the bat and he flings it into the seats.
Kemp is down on the count now, 1-2, and he strikes out. 2 down.
Comes back, this one dances away, probably swings at a ball off the plate. That's the pitch that Cabrera was able to lay off. But as a hitter, boy, I wonder how many hitters the Indians have actually faced him. I know Bourne has faced him the most, and then you're going to get Swisher and Reynolds, I'm sure from the National League.
And even those guys would tell you that doesn't do them any good.
Right, just a few at-bats. Bourne, that was his 29th.
There's the fastball, missing outside, ball 1.
And these two, Swisher when he was with the Yankees, and of course when Dickey was with the Mets, they have a little bit of a history.
Cabrera taking his lead at first, held by Encarnacion. The pitch to Swisher glances off the glove of Aaron Sebia, and Cabrera alertly darts to second.
You see, that's what you have to be aware of when you're a base runner, where that ball can just dance and get away from the catcher and take the extra base anytime. That one was very catchable, but you can see that stayed up. Aaron Sebia thought it was coming down and goes off his glove, so it'll be a pass ball, and you'll see a lot of those this year when this guy is on the mound.
Cabrera into scoring position. The count 2-0 on Swisher. Taking the strike.
It's okay, 2-0, you get a free look at a knuckleball.
Oh, he had one to hit, and he ripped it straight back.
It's all right, good swing. Very good cut. You know, I always felt it tough when you get the count in your favor, and that one was middle of the plate. When you're looking for the knuckleball and you get a quick 2-0 count, to change your mind and sit on the fastball because you don't know if you're going to get it or not. There's still that doubt in your mind.
The sellout crowd on its feet. The 2-2. Up high and a full count.
They get that first 2-out base hit of the season to get it going. Like to get them early if you can.
Swisher hammers it foul down the right side, just a tad too far out in front of it.
Another pitch that was elevated in the strike zone. Takes advantage of it. That one inside, and he just turned on it and it went foul.
With 2 down, the payoff pitch to Swisher is chopped to first. Encarnacion will take it himself. And R.A. Dickey's first inning as a Blue Jay is scoreless. Toronto will come to bat against Justin Masterson, who makes his second consecutive opening day start for the Tribe. Terry Francona's club had a scoring opportunity in the first inning, could not cash in. And so now Justin Masterson takes the hill, and here's the Blue Jays starting lineup that he will face here tonight. Jose Reyes leading it off. Melky Cabrera in the 2-hole. Then Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion, and Adam Lynn. Followed by J.P. Arancibia, Colby Erasmus, Maicer Torres, and Emilio Bonifacio.
28-year-old Justin Masterson on the mound for the Indians tonight. Last year, 11-15. Sort of a disappointing year. He did get 200 innings in, but the big man has to turn it around. I would like to see him walk fewer people. He is 3-1 in his career against the Blue Jays. 2-1 in 4 starts.
Pitch up and away, ball 1 to Jose Reyes. A disappointing season with the Marlins a year ago. I think everybody looked last year down in Miami as, you know, the team that might be the one to beat. But under Ozzie Guillen, they flamed out spectacularly. And that team completely dismantled in the offseason.
After spending all that money they did on the offseason, they unloaded them just as fast.
Yep. And Reyes works a walk to start the game for the Blue Jays.
Let's check the defense behind Masterson tonight for the Indians. In the outfield from left to right, it's going to be Brantley, Bourne, and Stubbs. On the infield from third to first, Chisenhall, Cabrera, Kipnis, and Swisher with Santana behind the plate.
So now we'll see if Carlos Santana can hold his fellow countryman and his former WBC teammate Jose Reyes in check. He stole 40 bases a year ago. Melky Cabrera looks at a ball outside.
Right now, they're not going to run until he can find the strike zone. Give that guy an opportunity to swing the bat. There you go. Sit right down the middle. Masterson, a guy you certainly do not want to try and hit the corners with the movement he has on his pitches. Now that he's in the strike zone, I'm sure green lights are on.
Cabrera taking. And a called strike, much to the dismay of the crowd here tonight. 1-2 the count.
Well, that ball has the plate right there at the knees.
Cabrera bangs it foul. Now Melky Cabrera was on his way to cashing in big time a year ago. I mean, he was going into his free agent year and he was having a fantastic season. But then a failed drug test, landing him on baseball's suspended list. Shoots it foul the other way.
And there he just tried to stay alive, just getting a piece, and good hitters do that. He has good numbers in his career, as you saw against Masterson. That ball is away, so it just stays alive, fouls it off.
Reyes draws a throw, and Swisher came off the bag to grab it, a little wide of the mark.
The number 1 and 2 hitters, 8 and 9 hitters in John Gibbons' lineup are switch hitters. So they can flip you around just like the Indians have 3 in theirs.
Line to short. It's caught by Cabrera. Easy double play.
Go.
2 for the price of 1. And Masterson, who specializes in the double play, usually via the ground ball, will take that one.
Well, Cabrera, he stayed on it. I give him credit. And really, when you're on base, there's not much you can do. He's thinking second base all the way. And once it's hit right in the tracks, you see he takes one step, he's dead anyway. So that's what they wanted, the double play ball.
Here's a guy they're happy to have back in the lineup. Jose Bautista only made it through 92 games a year ago before a wrist injury landed him on the DL.
Yeah, but when you look at this, the power that they have between this guy and Encarnacion, yeah, I'll tell you, there right there's about 90 home runs between the two guys, and they're both right-handed, and they can hit it a long way. And this guy, I mean, you can just look at the power as it goes from 54 to 43. Last year with the injuries, just 27, but he was right there in the league lead before getting hurt or injuring that wrist. But the good thing of it is if you can get the table setters out before they get up, it's a little better.
Fair ball. It was by Chisenhall, and then down in the corner, Brantley scoops it, makes a strong throw to the bag, and that forces Bautista to scamper back to first with a 2-out single.
Well, he does a nice job. It's an 0-2 count. I want to see the location that Justin gets him with. It's inside. He pulls it right over the bag. He's going in there, and I'll tell you, it wasn't a bad pitch. It might have been off the plate. I give credit to Bautista right there for keeping that ball fair. Brantley does a beautiful job of cutting it off. Bautista thought he was going to cruise to second base, and Michael says, no siree.
Now Encarnacion, who was hit by the pitch. Encarnacion, who homered 42 times a year ago, drilled by the Masterson offering, and now Toronto with 2 on and 2 out.
You know, after that 0-2 pitch to Bautista, I think he felt like if I got to go inside, he's going way inside. You see where Santana's sitting. That ball just gets away from him and gets him just above the knee. So the two big right-handed bats get on base. 2-out single by Bautista. Now Encarnacion gets hit. We'll give this guy an opportunity, Adam Lynn.
Adam Lynn pitches 255 a year ago with 11 homers, 45 driven in, but this guy has been a monster on opening day.
Yeah, you saw the same numbers I think I did.
10 for 15 in his career on opening day.
He had a string of 3 straight opening day home runs. It came to an end last year in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And when this guy's swinging the bat well, he's got pretty good pop the other way to left center field. Stays on the baseball.
And a strike over the outside corner. Michael Bourne, the Indian center fielder, is shading Lynn toward that left center field gap. And this is what Lynn did in 6 games against the Tribe, in addition to the opener last year. There's the defensive alignment. And with 2 on and 2 out, fisted foul the other way and out of play.
Yeah, that's that opener last year in Cleveland was a 5-hour plus contest. It went 16 innings, the longest game ever on opening day.
Yep, set the record in terms of innings.
And we could say one thing: thank goodness there's a lid on this ballpark, on this dome, because it's mighty cold outside tonight.
The 1-2 pitch.
Good pitch.
I don't know what they announced, but it was barely at freezing level here today in Toronto. And it's snowing.
Here's what Masterson has to do to the left-handers tonight. Good slider in off the dish. Gets him to swing at it. He fouled it off, but I like the location. If you're going to miss with that pitch, you got to miss in off the plate.
Just missed off the dish with the fastball.
This is natural movement there for Justin. A pitch that's well outside. Santana sitting on the edge, and that tailed well off.
Right-hander with the 2-2. Swung on and missed. He strikes out Lynn to end the first. Both teams have opportunities. Neither can cash in, and we are scoreless after an inning. is brought to you by McDonald's new Premium McWrap. Fresh vegetables, tasty sauces, and juicy chicken in a warm tortilla. Try one today. We go to the second inning. And Michael Brantley, Carlos Santana, Mark Reynolds coming up for the Indians. Mickey Callaway, the new Indians pitching coach, talking with Justin Masterson. Both Masterson and Dickey made 21 pitches in the first inning. Brantley taking it, it's a strike.
Michael, a guy you would think would have a good approach to the knuckleballer because he doesn't change. He stays short. He looks at the baseball longer than most hitters. There
right
you
up
go.
the middle it goes, and it's into center field for a base hit.
I think the longer you get a chance to look at a knuckleball, the better opportunity you have because it shortens your swing. And you see you can get enough of it to get it through here. Remember, you're on turf. That pitch was down and in, but he waits on it so well and just uses his hands. You see his front foot, he never even made a stride. Use your hands and let it work, and he does. First hit for the Indians.
To your point, R.A. Dickey has said he'd rather face a lineup full of 3 and 4 hitters, guys who have ego that think, oh, I'm facing a knuckleballer, I'm going to take him deep. He said the guys that drive him crazy are the 8 and 9 hitters, the guys who just stay on the ball and will take their single and move on.
They don't swing and miss. You know, they have a tendency to put it in play. And I think most pitchers that have good control would rather see that. Let me see the big swingers because I'll find their holes and I'll pound the weaknesses.
Santana hits one in the air to center field. Colby Rasmus will make the catch. Back to first goes Brantley, one away. Let's take a look at our great clip of the game, and let's go back to March. Rick and I were televising, and Mark Reynolds absolutely tees off, hitting it over the Goodyear Ballpark scoreboard, one of the longest home runs we've ever seen.
That was our first night game we've ever televised out there in Arizona, and he hit one deep into the night.
Great clips. It's going to be great. And here is Reynolds, 23 homers a year ago. Takes upstairs.
But here's one of those guys that I think Dickey would rather face that we just talked about. The guy with the big swing.
Yep.
The guy that you can find his holes. He's 0 for 6 against Dickey in his career. Go.
Off the glove of Aaron Sebia, down to second. Goes Brantley, and that's the second pass ball of the night.
Sure is. I mean, it may look easy at home when you're sitting there watching, and that you don't realize how much that ball is moving. It has no spin to it. And those guys, those catchers, have great hands, and that ball just goes off his glove. Very, very difficult. And I think the more you start thinking about it, the more it could possibly happen to you.
Well, I've heard people say, well, you know, a good knuckleball, looks like a wiffle ball in the old backyard style.
Yeah.
But a wiffle ball doesn't get to 78 miles an hour like the one he's throwing there.
That's true. There was a fastball. You know what? There you go. A 3-0 count. That's the situation you got to let your guys go. 3-0, go ahead and swing if you get the fastball, and it was at 83 miles per hour. May not get another one here. Didn't.
And a full count. Here's that theory you talked about. If it's high, let it fly.
Yeah, and he did. I mean, those are the ones you see so well, so go ahead and swing it. Just foul it off.
And it's ball 4. Dickey has walked his second in as many innings, and the Indians have 2 on with 1 out for Lonnie Chisenhall. Tonight's injury report brought to you by Elk & Elk. Serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Jason Giambi expected to be activated when the Indians return home to take on the Yankees. He'll be eligible to come off the DL. I believe it's on Tuesday. Lonnie Chisenhall looks at a ball up high. Terry Francona letting everyone know today before the game that pitcher Scott Kazmir suffered some discomfort on his right side
There you
Another
go.
pass ball off the glove of Aaron Sebia. Down to third is Brantley, and into scoring position is Reynolds.
That's what you need to do. As many base runners as you can get them on. You know, because those pass balls, already 3. We're in the second inning. And then you'll see this ball just dance out of the way of Aaron Sebia. He's got to be thinking about it now. It's right there up for him to catch, but it just took off on him. So with 1 out, they keep the infield back. They'll take it out and give up a run if you can put it in play.
Chisenhall with a swing and a miss. I've heard catchers talk before about catching the knuckleball and how when you get in trouble is when you lead and you try to jab at the ball. That's when you get into trouble. You've got to sit and literally wait for you.
Let it come to you.
There's a ground ball on the hole. Reyes backhands it. Gets rid of it in a hurry. Chisenhall is out number 2, but he picks up his first RBI on the year. The Indians take the lead 1-0.
They play from in front, just what you wanted to do. Put the ball in play. The infield was back. They were giving you a run, and Chisenhall does just that. The Indians will break on top 1-0. The pass balls certainly helped their cause in this inning.
Now Drew Stubbs, coming over from Cincinnati in the offseason, part of the Shin-Soo Choo trade package. And a guy who certainly had high expectations, external high expectations. I know he had high expectations of himself, but everyone in Cincinnati was waiting for him to really blossom. And he lines one into left field, a base hit just beyond Asturas, the third baseman. Coming home is Reynolds, the throw far up the line. And with a 2-out RBI hit, it's Drew Stubbs, and it's 2-0 Cleveland.
That looked like it might have went off the glove of Asturas at third base. Now, Cabrera in left field, we saw him back in the American League with Kansas City in center field with a very good arm, but this throw way off line early in the year. A nice job of getting a 2-out base hit by Drew Stubbs, and you got to send him in this situation. Keep on going. Reynolds comes in to score the second run, and the Indians get their first 2-out base hit of the year by their number 9 hitter. That's a good thing.
Boy, I couldn't tell, but it didn't look like he got leather on that ball. It was close.
Okay, it was close. I thought it. So then Cabrera had a clean shot to get him.
Ball skips away just momentarily, but not far enough for Stubbs to advance. Drew Stubbs and Michael Bourne physically couldn't be any more opposite, but they can both run like the wind.
Yeah.
I mean, Stubbs at 6'4", he's like an NFL quarterback. And Michael Bourne is like a little scat back, but they both can motor.
They get from point A to point B in a hurry.
Bourne up the middle, and Dickey knocks it down, hangs on, and the side is retired, but not before the Indians strike first tonight in Toronto. An RBI ground out by Lonnie Chisenhall, a 2-out RBI single by Drew Stubbs. Indians on top 2-0, bottom of the second inning. J.P. Arancibia, Colby Rasmus, and Maicer Izturis due up for Toronto. And Arancibia looks at a strike. Masterson walked a batter, allowed a hit a batter. And a line drive turned into a double play and had a strikeout. So a little bit of everything for Justin in that first inning. You wonder too sometimes for any player opening night if the adrenaline surge might not get the better of you at the outset.
I think when you're first inning, you go out there and you throw the ball. Once you get through it, you settle in. Now they get him a couple of runs. He can come back. Not that it's any easier. You take a deep breath. He made 2 starts against the Jays last year and pitched very well. Allowed just 1 run over the 15 innings.
Arancibia went after a ball that nearly hit him, and it's the second strikeout for Masterson.
Back-to-back strikeouts, and we've seen right-handers do this. When Justin gets ahead of you, you see that sinker. You start to commit on that ball, and it just keeps bearing in, and you can't check your swing. That's why Bautista got a base hit on almost that same pitch and was able to keep it fair. But Arancibia had no chance. He was overmatched.
Here's Colby Rasmus looking at ball 1 down and away.
When Justin gets that big frame, free and easy, and he's just throwing the baseball, it has great movement, and that ball jumps out of his hand. It's just a matter of keeping him in sync. A lot of arms and legs, and a lot of things can go wrong with the mechanics.
A little bit outside. 2 balls and a strike.
He did say one thing in spring training. In one of his starts, he realized that when he would close that front foot instead of open it to home plate, pointing it at the hitter, close it a little bit, he had more natural sink and everything felt a little more comfortable for him.
He loses Rasmus. Second walk of the night for Justin. 1 on 1 out now for Toronto.
Well, come on out and support your tribe in the first homestand of the season. You know, the Yankees only come one time, and it's going to be the first homestand of the year, and there's still great seats that remain for the following 3 games of that series. And you don't want to forget 12-ounce beers are going to be $4 now. Hot dogs only $3 for every home game. Call 216-420-HITS. Operators are standing by, waiting for your call.
Maicer Izturis looks at a ball down low, and Masterson having some command issues here early.
This is like the second time in as many innings that he's thrown 6 straight balls. You know, that's what can happen to Justin sometimes. All of a sudden, that arm slot, I don't know what it does. He went in and just tore Arancibia apart, and then you get the left-hander up there, and he has a little more problems.
Terry Francona will try a new piece of chewing gum.
Or 2. Or 3.
As many as it takes.
It may take a whole carton of bubble gum by the time this one's over.
2-0 pitch.
There you go.
Izturis takes a strike. Maicer Izturis, one of the many new faces on this Blue Jays ball club. They have 11 new players on their roster from a season ago.
Yeah, pretty much just like the Indians with 11 new. And this guy's making the start because the normal third baseman, Brett Lowry, is put on the DL. He had a left oblique strain, and that's retroactive back to March 22nd for him.
2-2. Inside and a full count.
See, this is the part of the lineup where Justin, you can't give them base runners. They have to hit their way on. You're getting to the bottom part of the lineup. You want them to work to get on, especially after your offense just gave you 2 runs.
Runner goes, ball hit in the air, right field. Drew Stubbs barely having to move. 2 down, and Rasmus retreats in a hurry. Coming to the plate now is Emilio Bonifacio. And what makes this really interesting, something that both you and I read in the local paper, that starting with Bonifacio now, you've got 5 consecutive Dominican-born hitters in this Toronto Blue Jays lineup. Bonifacio hitting 9th, but then Reyes, Cabrera, Batista, and Encarnacion. They take great pride in their heritage, the WBC champions.
Right.
They played with great energy and won that title.
Well, it is unique when you see that many in a row on one team.
They don't think it's ever happened before. I'm sure there will be research done to try to prove that out. But, you know, up here they talk about the fact that baseball to the Dominican people is like hockey to the Canadian people.
Well, that's true. I mean, when you get to the island of the Dominican Republic, I mean, they eat, sleep, and breathe baseball. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. And for any of the other Latin countries that participate in baseball, the Dominicans have the most players at the major league level. I believe they have 89 as far as on the rosters right now this year, starting on the 25-man.
Runner at first, 2 down. 1 ball, 1 strike count, and Bonifacio fouls it out of play.
Yeah, this is a guy you want him hit it up in the air and hit it to left field. He's not going to drive it out of the ballpark. They're shading that way. Pitch him away, play him away. Throw to first, maybe? Yeah. 2 strikes, 9th place hitter. You got a guy that can run a little bit on first base. They're thinking maybe he may try and score to get steal to get in scoring position.
And the 1-2 foul back out of play. Kind of interesting. We saw a shot of John Gibbons, the Toronto manager, in the dugout a moment ago. Gibbons, and of course Mike Aviles of the Indians will always be connected, and that Gibbons gets the job here in Toronto because John Farrell was traded to be the Boston manager in exchange for Mike Aviles, who briefly stopped here in Toronto on his way to Cleveland. Down and in, 2-2.
Okay, you back him up off the plate from being able to go ahead and reach out there. Hey, Aviles didn't even have a chance to meet Gibbons, did he? Just on his way to Cleveland.
He said they were just thinking about maybe, well, should we go look for a place in Toronto, when his agent called and said, hold on, you've just been traded again. Such is the nature of baseball sometimes in the offseason. You just never know how quickly trades come.
I mean, that fast?
Yeah.
I mean, that is strange. But this is the second stint here for John Gibbons as manager. He was at 500, 305 and 305 his last time he was here, record-wise.
2-2, line into right field, a base hit. Stubbs racing over. He will cut it off. Heading for second, Bonifacio to throw cut off. Second and third with 2 down for Toronto. So the number 9 hitter, Bonifacio, who only had 3 doubles all of last year with the Marlins, doubles to right field with 2 down here.
I want to see that pitch because look at it, inside. You don't want to throw him inside. He's a little man that has a short swing, and they're tough to jam. You want to pound him away. He just came in off the dish to back his feet out, and this is a guy that shouldn't pull a baseball on you. He does a nice job, though, of getting himself in scoring position as Stubbs cuts it off. So now a 2-out base hit, tying runs on base.
And Jose Reyes takes strike 1. Speed pitch from Masterson, and he jumps ahead of Reyes, who walked his first time up. Reyes 37 doubles and a dozen triples last year. Foul back, 0-2. Just missed outside, and you can see Reyes flinch. He almost chased after it, but able to hold up. Colby Rasmus, who walked, is at third. Bonifacio, who doubled at second with 2 away. And the 1-2 pitch hit the first. Swisher flips it to Masterson, and the inning is over. So Masterson working out of trouble, 2 scoreless innings under his belt, and the Indians lead it 2-0. Indians with a 2-0 lead as we go to the 3rd inning. As Dribble Cabrera, Jason Kipnis, and Nick Swisher coming up. R.A. Dickey floats one in there for strike 1. All the way to the backstop, and it's 1 ball, 1
Had a
strike.
good at bat his first time up, able to work a walk-off Dickey. Laid off a couple of very tough pitches to get that walk.
Fouled back. In the dirt, and a good eye by Cabrera. As Dribble walked, got to second base in the 1st inning, but was stranded at second.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get a look at Aaron Sebia's glove, the size of it, and the ball still bouncing out of it. I mean,
it's almost like a first baseman's mitt, isn't it?
It almost it is like that. It looks like a tent.
Oh, hard hit ball up the middle. Reyes had it fall out of his glove. He recovers and throws him out. Nice scoop by Encarnacion. Reyes had Cabrera shaded up the middle. Otherwise, that is a base hit most times.
That ball hit well, and the strong arm of Reyes is able to pick it right back up. He kept it in front of him. And throws Cabrera out, so good recovery.
1 down for Jason Kipnis. Up high, ball 1. Big bouncer out of the dirt cutout at first base. Encarnacion takes it himself 2 away. Let's go downstairs and check in once again. Here's Katie with them.
Well, Matt, Rick, you guys have probably already noticed the patch that both the Cleveland Indians and the Toronto Blue Jays are wearing on the left side of their jersey. That patch is in support of the victims of Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut. You'll see all Major League Baseball teams wearing them throughout the opening games of the 2013 season. MLB is encouraging fans to help contribute to the Sandy Hook Support Fund. You can do that by texting Newtown to 80888. And guys, I'm sure any little bit will help.
No doubt about that. Thanks, Katie. 2 down, and Nick Swisher looks at a ball outside. It's 2-0. Because of the time Swisher spent playing against the Jays in a Yankee uniform, he's drawn more than his fair share of boos every time he's been announced here tonight. 2-1 to count. And a hot smash to second, but Bonifacio able to knock it down. And the Indians are retired 1-2-3 here in the third. Reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Melky Cabrera, Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion for the Blue Jays here in the bottom of the third.
I don't know how high they had to go up to find those jerseys.
Got some
Today's a little different.
Tribe fans here.
This is shades of the 90s, man, when you look at this ballpark and it's filled up. 20 years ago, 1993, their last World Series year.
Cabrera, a line drive to right field, and Stubbs misplays it. Cabrera's on his way to second, and he'll go in standing. It'll probably be a single and an error. Looked like Stubbs got caught in between. Should I charge it and try to make the play, wait back on it? And he got one of those awkward in-between bounces.
That was a missile. I'm going to tell you something. That ball was hit so hard. It was middle of the plate in, and he just threw the bat head. And that ball stayed up so long for a line drive, he didn't realize that if he continued to come in, might have been able to catch it. But that ball is one tough ball to handle as an outfielder. I mean, that one was right at him and a low screamer. So it'll go as a single and an error.
Now Jose Bautista doubled over the bag at third his first time up. And Masterson makes sure he pushes him off the plate with that pitch. Able to lay off an outside pitch 2-0. Left side of the infield back. This guy, you talked about the ball Cabrera hit being a missile. And when this guy barrels them up, they come off the bat in a hurry.
Well, yeah, you go ahead and play deep on him. Chisenhall, play as deep as you can. That guy on second base, he's not going to try and get him over. He's going to try and hit it over the fence.
The 3-0 pitch, a called strike, and Batista hastily tossed his bat aside, thinking it was ball 4.
You never want to do that as a hitter. And I mean, a 3-0 count, you can see that ball. It might have been a little off, but it had some comeback to it. Bautista thought it was outside. Lets the bat go. Nice slider.
Full count.
He was trying to cheat on that 3-1 fastball. He may have thought about going out there and getting another one. He might have been looking in the same spot for the fastball, but they mix it up and throw him the slider, and it locks him up, so that's why he takes it. Looking dead red.
Santana asking for time. And the payoff pitch. Up high with the fastball. First 2 Jays aboard here in the home half of the 3rd. Time now for today's AT&T trivia question. Four pitchers in Indians history have made 5 or more opening day starts. Who are those 4? Well, the answer coming up in a little while. Edwin Encarnacion was hit by a pitch his first time up, caught him right on the left thigh. And Masterson goes in off the plate again. And it's ball 1. Tribe leading 2-0, but a precarious lead now here in the 3rd with 2 on, nobody out for Toronto. And this explosive Jays lineup threatening now. Chopped to 3rd. Off the glove of Chisenhall, but it's foul. Very close down that line, but you saw the umpire Carapazza make the call.
Well, a high hopper, that hit the dirt, comes back, and then hits the turf. And you know, this is a turf field, and they will play their 3 games here. They will go down to Tampa and play 3 more on this field turf, and they're done for the year. Off the turf, onto natural grass. And last year they weren't very good on turf.
The 1-1. Called strike inside corner. Well, the Indians lost 2 out of 3 here in Toronto, and they lost 2 out of 3 to the Jays in Cleveland.
Right.
One ball, 2 strike count. Checked his swing. It's outside, and it's 2-2. It's only the 3rd inning, and there's nobody out, and Masterson is 2 pitches shy of 60 already on the night. And the 2-2 offering. Tied him up, and that got a piece of Santana on the foul back.
Well, he runs one inside. It got in on Encarnacion. That's why it ends up getting Santana. Again, exposes that knee. You see where he's sitting up? See that knee fall down? And it deflects off his glove and down into the leg.
Yep, got him on that thigh.
Boy, he can't leave anything exposed because it'll find you.
And 2-2 before it's made. Time was called and it was granted. Not sure why. Had plenty of time to get ready.
Well, the umpire took off from the box. He must have called it, you know, in time.
Another slider, but he wouldn't bite. Full count. Left-handed hitting Adam Lynn waiting on deck. Once again, time called by, not sure who was the umpire or Encarnacion. Time granted. Payoff pitch. Ball 4 and they're loaded.
Well, Justin has struggled all night, to command the baseball. That's walk number 4. There's still nobody out here in the 3rd inning, and he has thrown a lot of pitches early in this ball game. Mickey Callaway is going to come out and have a talk with him to try and settle him down, and rightfully so. Well, the first Sugardale Dollar Dog Night of the year will take place Friday, April 12th. It'll be a 7:05 game against our division rivals, the Chicago White Sox. Great seats still remain. They'll call 216-420-HITS. Operators waiting for your phone call.
Well, Masterson has walked back-to-back hitters and has loaded the bases. And nobody out for Adam Lynn, who struck out his first time up.
Yeah, minimum 20 pitches every inning, and he doesn't have an out, and already with 15 in this inning.
Fouled back. Lynn wasn't going to spot him one. A lot of stretching and stirring in the Indians bullpen. No activity as of yet. And it's down low. Line to short, knocked down by Cabrera. There's one. Kipnis on the turn. They get a double play. The Blue Jays get on the board, but a double play magnificently turned by Cabrera, and Kipnis erases 2 Blue Jays.
What a play. Asdrubal, that ball again, another ball hit right on the nose. This is going to be our McDonald's. I'm loving it. And you have to love this. Look at him getting down on one knee. That ball had to come out harder than 95 miles per hour that it was going in at. And it was an in-between hop, and he's able to snag it and give the flip to Kipnis. They turn the double play, and nicely done. And Masterson very happy. They do get the run, but you get 2 outs.
Now J.P. Arancibia, who struck out his first time up, takes a strike. I don't think you can hit a ball any harder than
there's been 2 in this inning. There's 2 in this inning that have been, right on the nose.
Arancibia, again, just as he did when he struck out his first time up, can't hold back on a pitch that is moving so hard inside.
But continue to pound him in because he's cheating. And he's trying to, get anything he can. He's starting early. Don't give him up and give him something away.
1 ball, 2 strikes. You just want to continue to smother him.
I would. I wouldn't give him a break. If he wants to swing at that pitch he can't hit, let him do it. And I think even if he does hit it, the only thing he can do is hit it foul.
They set up away. And he misses off the plate, 2-2. Indians lead it 2-1. Tying run 90 feet away for Toronto. Jose Bautista off in foul ground at third base. 2-2 pitch. Low and away.
See, he missed his target by 3 feet there. I think Santana was moving inside. That ball goes away. I mean, when he misses, he can miss by 3 feet.
Again,
why
what
would
you
you
talked
give
about
him
earlier, the mechanics.
Yeah, I mean, don't overthrow it. Stay free and easy, but pound him in.
Strike 3 called, and the inning is over. So the Blue Jays threaten loading the bases with nobody out. but Masterson limits them to just 1 run, and the Tribe stays in front. And in the center of your screen is Geddy Lee from the band Rush, who will be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland. And he had a big thrill before tonight's ball game.
And didn't do a bad job. Went out there and it looked like it was a strike from the pitcher's mound.
Throwing out the ceremonial first pitch tonight. Michael Brantley led off the second inning with a single and came around to score the Indians' first run of the year. R.A. Dickey catches the outside corner for strike 1. No balls, 2 strikes. Dickey retired the side in order in the 3rd inning. Now Brantley lifts one down the left field line. Cabrera, long run. He can't get there. And it's into foul territory. That fan a little overzealous in trying to get that ball. Came onto the field.
But he got back in a hurry, didn't he? Wearing the Bautista jersey. I thought it was a ball boy coming out to get out of the way. Watch, he comes in. Oops. Just a quick roll.
Stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah, no kidding. Look at him. Oops. Uh-oh. He knows he better get back in there.
Don't worry, nobody saw it.
Except us.
A little bit outside for Brantley. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And a 1-2. Swung on and missed. Katie Witham caught up with Geddy Lee earlier tonight and asked him about going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum in Cleveland.
Oh, it's a big thrill. You know, to be the first Canadian band to be inducted makes me proud as a Canadian. And also, you know, our fans have worked very hard to get us inducted. I would say that they are the sole reason we are being inducted. We have incredible fan base, and they've stuck with us through all these years and championed us to be in that hallowed hall. So we are very gracious and appreciative and happy to be there.
And for anybody who's my age, you know, of course, if you didn't listen to Rush as a fan, you remember, of course, their huge hit song with Bob and Doug McKenzie, Take Off to the Great White North. where Geddy Lee was the lead singer on that great tune. And he's enjoying opening night here in Toronto. 2-1 pitch to Carlos Santana is outside, 3-1. R.A. Dickey retiring 5 in a row. He's, at least up to this point, looks like he's found a rhythm that Justin Masterson is still looking for.
Right, he's settling in a little bit. He's making the adjustment.
Full count.
There was no fastball there. He's got a feel for the knuckler. He went with a 3-run knuckleball there.
Outside, ball 4. Rick mentioned it. Here was tonight's ceremonial first pitch from Geddy Lee.
Might be the only fastball we're going to see all night. And there it was, right down the heart of the plate. Good pitch. Well done. Brandon Morrow, tomorrow's starter, received the baseball.
In the dirt, gets away, and down to second goes Santana.
Now that's a wild pitch. So that's the 4th time that the Indians have had a runner able to advance. 3 pass ball, and watch this when he gets into the dirt. You can certainly understand he's not going to be able to catch that, but he put the big glove down and just ricochets off and deflects back. So a runner in scoring position again.
Reynolds chops it right at the shortstop Reyes, and he throws him out 2 down.
When you look at Dickey, not many times do you get opportunities where you'll get a fastball. And most of the time it's going to be a 3-0 count or something like that. But that knuckleball is the primary pitch.
As Dickey has explained in the past, it doesn't always go where you want it to go or where you think it's going to go. And now Chisenhall bloops one into left field. Santana will have to stop at third. So a nice piece of 2-out hitting by Lonnie Chisenhall to put the ball in play. But Santana really no chance to score.
Yeah,
got to it quickly.
No, really, it wasn't hit hard enough with Santana on second base. Anytime you get 2 outs and you have a runner in scoring position, you're going to try to score him on a base hit. But Cabrera has a very good arm out there, and you can see he's just playing a deep infield position there, so you couldn't take a chance to try and send him, so you just have to move up a base. But still, in this situation, we showed you the 3 pass balls and a wild pitch. You can score from third base over there easily.
And let's not forget, Drew Stubbs had a 2-out RBI hit his first time up. He singled to left field, driving in the Indians' second run of the night, which has given them their margin.
You know,
up to this point,
you have to think when you're a knuckleball pitcher, you get a guy on third base with 2 outs. You may throw that ball a little bit higher just so you can keep it out of the dirt for your catcher, wouldn't you? I mean, just mentally say, I don't want to throw another one of those, knowing that they have to be hard to catch. I know when you throw a catcher a breaking ball, you have to trust it and trust he's going to block it. But you wonder if that creeps into the old thought process.
Well, speaking of thought process, it reminds me of a quote from Jim Bouton, who once said, "To master the knuckleball, you need the fingertips of a safecracker and the mind of a Zen Buddhist." Stubbs with a liner right at Reyes. So the Indians threaten here in the 4th inning, but they can't break through. But they still maintain a 2-1 edge. Indians on top 2-1. Bottom of the fourth inning. Bottom third of the Toronto order coming up here. It'll be Colby Rasmus, Maicer Izturis, and Emilio Bonifacio.
Boy, Justin Masterson could use a nice quick inning, you know? He has really had to work hard to get through the first three. They have left 5 stranded. They only have 1 on the board, and they dodged a bullet. A big play by Cabrera last inning, bases loaded, nobody out, to get the double play and then get out of the inning.
Pitch is down low, ball 1. Rasmus, 23 homers a year ago to go along with 21 doubles. And takes a strike, 1-1. Swung on and missed. He blew it right by him. 95 miles an hour. That's 4 strikeouts now for Masterson.
Yeah, he overpowered him. He went with the 4-seamer. This one, he didn't want any movement. He went with a 4-seamer right there, and he got it up in a great location, belt high into the left-hander, and tied him up nicely.
Down low. And he misses low, 3-1. Just can't find any kind of consistent delivery point tonight.
Sometimes I think you get into maybe a little habit of trying to get in there and get a little too quick, where that front opens up. You can't open up your front side. Just stay back, stay slow.
Boy, what a great jump Drew Stubbs got on that ball. As soon as it was hit, it was almost as if he knew where it was going to end up. He took 3 strides in. He was right there to make the grab for out number 2. Right now on FoxSportsOhio.com, a conversation with Terry Francona. What's next for Ohio State basketball? And Andre and Zach talk Browns draft in this week's podcast A to Z. Get complete coverage of all today's action involving Ohio sports on FoxSportsOhio.com. Emilio Bonifacio takes a strike. A little bit low, 1-1. High fly ball, center field. Bourne calling for it. Michael settles under it. And for the first time tonight, Justin Masterson has a 1-2-3 inning. 4 complete. It's the Indians 2 and the Blue Jays 1. to you by Panini's with 19 locations in Northeast Ohio. And by your local Toyota dealers for over 30 Toyota offers. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. A cold night north of the border. But luckily, we've got the roof closed. Very comfortable indoors tonight.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be about 72, didn't we, coming into this game? It'll be the same this weekend. Another place that'll be closed, although the weather's going to be much warmer down there in Tampa.
A strike called.
Yeah, Michael didn't like it. See if we can get him on base, get something going.
Down in the dirt. Bourne lines it into center field for a single. And the Indians leadoff man aboard for the first time tonight.
Yeah, put a good stroke.
Here's our stat of the game, brought to you by your Northern Ohio Buick dealers. Reigning Cy Young Award winners who have been traded immediately after that in the offseason. David Cohn, who was traded here to the Blue Jays. Pedro Martinez, who was traded from the Expos to Boston. Clemens, who was dealt by the Blue Jays to the Yankees, and now Dickey, traded by the Mets here to the Blue Jays. So the Blue Jays have been involved 3 of the 4 times.
It's amazing, isn't it?
And the other former Canadian baseball team was involved in the other instance. Former Montreal Expos. As Drupal Cabrera walked in the first, bounced to short his last time up. Sam Bourne gets a good lead to take off here.
Well, you know, the one thing of it is with knuckleballers, they have to learn how to hold runners closely. They don't have a high leg kick. They get the ball to the catcher in a hurry. So if they can catch it cleanly, they have a chance. But a lot of times it's staying back.
Cabrera, high drive, deep right field. Bautista looking. It is gone. Asdrubal Cabrera with a 2-run homer here in the 5th. It's a 4-1 Indians lead. And Michael Bourne doesn't have to worry about getting a good jump, stealing a base. He can simply trot in front of Cabrera. Asdrubal launching one here in inning number 5. And the first home run of the season for the Indians.
Well, who knows? But with Michael Bourne on that base, Cabrera got something up in the zone that he loved. That ball stayed right there. It speeds his bat up. And, I mean, he hit it high. Bautista knew that ball was getting out of here. So back-to-back hits. They put another 2 on the board. They make it 4-1 for Cabrera. He's had some very good at-bats tonight.
Now Jason Kipnis a swing and a miss. The 0-2 pitch. Called out on a pitch that Aaron Sebia appeared to frame over the outside part of the plate. 3rd strikeout for Dickey. First called 3rd strike of the night.
Just watch how high this one is. High and deep. And look at Bautista going after it. He knows it's out of here. He was thinking of maybe timing it, but realized it. Cabrera knows it. Thank you. 2-run homer.
It wasn't a no-doubter. I mean, it was high in the air. The only question is, would it carry just far enough or, get right to the top of that fence? You could see Dickey thinking, oh, no, he didn't think it was going to go out.
No, he did not. That's after pitching in New York last year where the ball doesn't carry as much. Could be one thing.
Swisher doesn't like the call. He's down on the count 0-2. One thing after that home run, Dickey has been able to come out and throw strikes. But now the Indians with a 4-1 advantage. Swisher twice has grounded out tonight. And strike 3 called. So Dickey gives up the 2-run bomb and then back-to-back called third strikeouts. But Bourne started it with the leadoff single right up the middle. And in a 2-1 ball game, as you said, Rick, even though he's a knuckleballer, maybe just divided his attention enough to where he didn't throw a good one. And Cabrera took advantage.
Well, that's why you always like base runners, to keep them out of the stretch. And after that home run was hit, he gets back into that full windup, and what happens? It's he pounds the strike zone and gets back-to-back called strikeouts.
Up high. 1-1 to count. Brantley singled to center field in the second inning, much like Michael Bourne did here in the fifth. And then he came around to score on an RBI groundout from Lonnie Chisenhall. And the Indians have not trailed in this game. All the way to the backstop. And the 2-2. Brantley spoiling it, staying alive. R.A. Dickey, no overnight success story, that's for certain. Back in 2005, Buck Showalter and Oral Hershiser called him into a meeting when he was with Texas. He went on the DL with a shoulder problem, and it was Oral Hershiser who asked him if when he came off the DL he would consider going to the minor leagues to become a full-time knuckleball pitcher. And after the meeting was over, Dickey had agreed, and he said that was it. It was a 7-minute meeting. But Hershiser had been very positive, been a good influence for him, and he suggested it, and he said, I figured, why not? Let's give that a try.
Well, just think about that. It turned his whole career around.
And it's ball 4 to Brantley.
Dickey was walking off the mound. He was heading to the dugout. Well, MLB.com At Bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Indians baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text At Bat to 31826 or visit Indians.com for the details.
Well, we got a timeout here with a 2-out base runner for the Indians. Well, Dickey has, for the most part, thrown the ball well.
Well, I think he just wanted to settle him down. He was walking into the dugout on that last pitch and didn't get called.
Pete Walker, the Blue Jays pitching coach, they're in a tough spot too when talking to a knuckleball pitcher.
Yeah, what do you tell him? Can't tell him anything. Hey, I talked to your buddy a couple of days ago, and he told me.
Yeah, I called Charlie Huff, and he says, nice play there by Encarnacion, the flip to end the inning. But Asdrubal Cabrera liftoff. Indians' first home run of the year as the Tribe sitting on top 4-1. Indians now with a 4-1 lead over Toronto. Bottom of the 5th inning, top of the order due up for Toronto. And it's interesting because in the top of the 5th, it was the Indians who had the top of their order coming up. Bottom of the 5th, it's the Blue Jays who have that same opportunity. Jose Reyes goes after the first pitch and pops it sky high. And the right fielder Drew Stubbs calling off Jason Kipnis to make the catch for out number 1.
And that's the way you do it.
Fox Saturday Baseball returns with 3 great matchups. Angels outfielder Josh Hamilton returns to Texas to take on the Rangers. Or the Yankees battle the defending AL champion Tigers. Or the Cardinals take on the World Series champion Giants in a rematch of the NLCS. The debut of Fox Saturday Baseball coming up April 6th. Melky Cabrera singled and scored his last time up.
Yeah, he's the one that got it going back in the 3rd inning when he hit, I mean, a vicious line drive to Drew Stubbs in right, but not this time.
Another pop-up, almost an instant replay. This time, Stubbs lets Kipnis take it himself. And they exchange the laugh for out number 2. Our in-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Lonnie Chisenhall, an RBI groundout, got the Tribe on the board. Then Drew Stubbs with a 2-out RBI hit made it 2-0. After the Blue Jays got on the board, as Drupal Cabrera gives them a little breathing room with a 2-run blast. Jose Bautista singled in the 1st, walked in the 3rd. And the pitch up high. Bautista bounced one over the bag at 3rd for a hit in the 1st inning. Walked in the 3rd. That's when Justin Masterson really pulled a rabbit out of the hat. Bases were loaded, nobody out. And Adam Lynn hit a scorcher to his Drupal Cabrera, who somehow stopped it on one quick bounce and turned a double play to short circuit what could have been a big rally for Toronto. Bullseye with a fastball.
Funny, on a 3-1 count last time he threw the slider and he locked him up. This time he comes back with the fastball. He doesn't swing, so that tells me he was looking for a breaking ball.
Fastball fouled right back.
This guy generates so much power, and you look at him, he doesn't seem like a big guy, but he can hit it as far as anybody because his hips open up. Once he gets that swing started to generate, those hips open up, and that bat flies through the hitting area. Nice
Strike
pitch.
3 called. What a dandy from Justin Masterson. Batista does not agree, but that's 5 Ks for Justin, and he is retired now 8 straight Blue Jays.
That's a good pitch. It might have been a touch low.
Well, there's one lonely Indians fan surrounded by Blue Jay fans. He's got to be feeling pretty good so far. Through 5, the Indians lead it 4-1. Justin Masterson took him a while, but maybe he's finally found a comfortable spot. He's retired 8 straight Blue Jays, and it all started with that bullet hit by Adam Lynn that was turned into a double play by Cabrera. Mark Reynolds will lead off the 6th for the Indians, and R.A. Dickey's pitch is low for ball 1.
Well, the 2 times tonight that the Indians have been able to score, they have had their leadoff man aboard. So why not get that first guy on and see what happens? Back in the 2nd, it was the leadoff single by Michael Brantley, and then it was Michael Bourne in the 5th. They've been able to put 2 on the board in each inning.
Swung on and missed. One and 2 the count for Reynolds. Popped him up. Foul ground, Encarnacion. 1 away.
Well, come on out for all the excitement at Progressive Field with a season ticket package. Season tickets give you access to the best seats at the lowest prices, and only season ticket holders have access to Tribe Rewards with unique once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. Full and partial season ticket plans are now on sale.
Lonnie Chisenhall, an RBI ground out his first time up. An opposite field single in the 4th. In the dirt. This will be the 100th pitch of the night for R.A. Dickey. Fouled back. In addition to winning 20 games in the Cy Young Award last year, Dickey logged a lot of innings. 233 2/3, second most in all of baseball. Only Justin Verlander pitched more innings last year. Talk about polar opposites, huh?
Yeah, no kidding. One power arm, and then the one guy, even though you're a knuckleball pitcher, you may think it doesn't put a lot of stress on your arm. It still hurts. You know, 230 innings, you still got to crank it up that many times and that many pitches.
Well, here's Drew Stubbs, who's already paid dividends tonight. An RBI single his first time up, and let's go downstairs. Here's Katie Witham with more on Stubbs.
Well, Stubbs really reworked his approach at the plate, Matt Rick. He eliminated that leg kick that he used to have, and he told me today it was a process for him, but when he finally got it down, he says it's really helped him simplify everything. It's also helped him have better pick recognition, but most importantly, guys, it's helped him find some consistency up there.
Yeah, I think that's it, because when you have that leg pick up and put it down, it's got to work. Your timing has got to work perfectly for you to be in rhythm. And when it's not, sometimes you rush too bad. You don't worry. Your hands aren't getting through the hitting area a lot.
High pop into foul territory. Encarnacion makes the catch. Couple of foul outs and a tapper back to the mound, and Dickey cruises through the 6th. Indians still lead it 4-1. Indians with a 4-1 lead, bottom of the 6th inning. Justin Masterson will face the 4, 5, and 6 hitters for Toronto. He has sat down 8 straight hitters. He has thrown 93 pitches.
Well, they have the bullpen up and getting loose, both the righty and a lefty going.
Chop foul. Ryan Shaw, right-hander. Rich Hill, the lefty, up in the Tribe bullpen. Striker of the outside corner. And Terry Francona has said it will take some time for those middle relievers to work into their roles.
Yeah, and that comes off the starters, you know, depending on how deep they go. You know, it'll take time to find out your 6th inning guys or your 7th inning guy, depending on who's winning and if you're losing and how you want to go about it.
In the hole, diving stop by Kipnis. Gets to his feet, throws in, he got him.
Nicely done.
A great diving, hustling effort by Jason Kipnis to take a leadoff hit away from Edwin Encarnacion.
Really shading him up the middle. And you know what he did not do is panic. Watch, he took his time and realized, I've got time to get up and throw it. He peeks over there. Just enough time to get him at first base. Nicely done. And I think he is one of the surprises last year defensively, how well he played on a consistent basis out there day in and day out. And he had, what, 6 errors all last year? And that's a big play right there to keep the leadoff man aboard to get the inning started.
I thought he played second base last year with a lot of poise, but at the same time, the kind of grit that you expect from him.
But, I mean, it was not an easy, change to make.
Nice backhanded stop by Swisher. Long flip, and Masterson's there to kick the bag for out number 2. So a couple of hard hit balls, a couple of nice defensive plays.
They have played good defense tonight.
10 straight retired by Justin now.
You know, you think about it. There's Swisher on the backhand. He's going to make the play. Justin gets over there. Kipnis made that nice play. Cabrera made the play of the game with the bases loaded. There you go. A big smile. Get the lead, throw some leather at him. That's what you want to do.
You got to go a long way to find somebody who plays with a bigger smile and more energy than Nick Swisher.
No, you won't. You won't find it.
J.P. Arancibia twice has struck out tonight for Toronto. Chop foul. You know, watching him from afar all those years when he was in Oakland, 1 year in Chicago with the Yankees, we often wondered, you know, is he like that all the time, or is he just like that when we're around? And now that we've been around him for the better part of a month, we realize that's just him.
That's the real deal.
All the time.
Yeah, that's not, there's nothing phony about it. That's the real deal. He enjoys it. He feels blessed. He's happy to play Major League Baseball, and it's great to see him have that kind of fun out on the field.
In the air, center field, Bourne says, I'll take it.
Nice inning.
And he does. And boy, Justin Masterson suddenly cruising along. He's retired 11 in a row. View from our Panini can, brought to you by Panini's Bar and Grill. The Rogers Center sold out tonight. 48,857 jammed in here for the season opener. And the Indians with a 4-1 lead. And as we go to the 7th inning, R.A. Dickey's night is over after 6 innings of work. And our call to the bullpen brought to you by the Cleveland Clinic. Aaron Loup, left-hander, 33 times a year ago, no wins, 2 losses, 2.64 ERA. And he's got Michael Bourne, the left-handed hitter, Asdrubal Cabrera, the switch hitter, and then Jason Kipnis, left-handed hitter.
Yeah, and it could be. He was sort of a matchup guy in his 33 appearances, Matt. Just pitched 30 2/3 innings. So coming in to face a couple left-handers, and Indians did a very good job against him tonight, just trying to get aboard on that knuckleball when you never see a knuckleball. It's not an easy thing to do. They had a great approach. The big hit was Cabrera's home run. So, you know, just from seeing everything and over here, it was a very good night overall offensively, although they didn't hit the ball. They have 5 hits.
But I agree with you. I think the approach, you know, the numbers might not back it up, but the approach at the plate was pretty sound. You didn't see guys wildly swinging for the fences.
I guarantee you, a lot of people thought that, oh man, we got to face this guy. The first game of the season, he's going to screw up your stroke coming out of spring training. They had a great approach. They took the pitches when they had to. He walked 4 guys, and that's what you need is base runners against him, because anything can happen. You guys have guys on base. They got a 2-out base hit. They got a home run, and they put 4 runs on against him. I think a great night overall.
And once again, Justin Masterson pitches well against the Toronto Blue Jays.
Well, he dodged a few bullets tonight as well.
Early on he did, but man, he found something.
Yeah, he settled in.
Bourne chops one between third and short. It's in the left field. And the speedster is aboard to start the 7th, his 2nd straight hit. As we promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. And back in the 5th inning, when Bourne led off with a single, it was Cabrera who squared up the knuckleball.
Yeah, there you go. That is a Miller time right there. 4-bagger. He didn't think it was going out. It certainly did. And that opened up the ball game. It was 1 run at the time. It's now 4-1. So that was a huge hit. He's had a good night, both offensively and defensively.
And now Cabby taking a strike.
This is a guy that can really benefit, Matt, with the help in the lineup around him, being that switch hitter.
Well, he shouldn't feel the burden of having to deliver every big hit that he's felt maybe the last couple of years.
No, he will not. I think this guy can flourish.
Bourne, meanwhile, with a left-hander on the hill.
Yeah, he'll pick and choose. He'll wait and see. Another thing that we have to realize about Michael Bourne is getting to know some of these pitchers in the American League and their moves. Just because you get over here, you get on base, you just don't, pick up and take off. It takes a little while to get a feel for it. Even though they have maybe some videos of these guys, they don't have to where you can really pick up your move.
Bounce to short. Reyes goes to second. They get 1. That's it. So Bourne has erased 1 away. All right, let's go now back to the Hyundai studio with an update. Here's Al Pawlowski. Wow, Yu Darvish carving up the Astros after Houston dealt Texas a pretty good whooping on opening night. Those two now division rivals.
Yeah, yes they are. 51 years Houston in the National League. Moving over to the American League West this year, which gives 15 teams to the American League. All right, he was guessing and going on the pitch. I'll tell you what, he's looking for a balk.
Exactly
that was
right.
Still a pretty good slide in there where he almost got Reyes. He was guessing and going on first pitch. He wants to talk to Kerwin Danley about that, how he's coming over. You can't really argue a balk call.
But can you argue a non-balk call?
Well, you watch this. He slides. Watch his leg. He actually almost got that foot in there before the tag was made, although the ball beat him by a ton, so they call you out.
If no balk was called, you could argue a balk, right?
Well, that's right. He's saying he balked.
Kipnis just fouled on the third baseline.
Yeah, that's right. He can argue that. He didn't balk. I told you.
Well, as we've seen over the years, the left-handers that have those really good, almost paralyzing moves, they're about as borderline a balk on every single time as you could get.
That's true. The slower they go up a lot of times is the ones that hang up there and they can lean. And with a young guy, not a lot of umpires get to see their moves a whole lot anymore. You know, when you don't have the same team a lot.
Chop toward first. And Encarnacion will flip to Luke. And the side is retired. Stretch time in Toronto. The Indians lead it by a score of 4-1. And now it's time for the 7th inning stretch. Brought to you by Spitzer Auto World. Life is hard. Buying a car shouldn't be. "4-1 Indians, bottom of the 7th inning. Time for the Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen. Joe Smith, a year ago, outstanding. 7 wins, a .296 ERA in 72 ball games. Rasmus trying to bunt his way aboard. That's going to go foul.
Well, yeah, this is what you're looking for with Terry Francona. If your starter can give you 6, you have a lead, then you turn it over to who you want to. The 7th, 8th, and 9th guys you have coming out of the bullpen. You know, and Joe has been so good in the last couple of years. You know, the first year he was here, you would think, okay, we're going to try and keep Joe out of there against left-handers, but not anymore. He's coming out, he's going to face 3 left-handers. But in the last couple of years, he has done such a good job getting both righties and lefties out. But this is the formula Terry Francona would love to see. It's just a matter now the players execute.
Down low. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You know, you look at the numbers on Masterson today too, Matt. He ended up, you know, going his 6 innings, only 3 hits. He just had trouble commanding the strike zone. He threw a lot of pitches around. There's a good call, third.
Outside corner locks him up. 1 down in the 7th. Well, Ricky had a lot of traffic. In other words, a lot of base runners, but he only gave up the 3 hits, as you pointed out, and he benefited some pretty good defensive plays.
Play of the game right there. Bases loaded, nobody out. They get the double play. He comes back to strike out Aaron Sebia to get out of it, and then settled in. I think that mentally that took a little pressure off him. They added the 2-run home run, and then there it went. He was able to just take a deep breather and then retired, 11 or 12 in a row?
The last 11 in a row. And let's not forget the first inning double play on the line out. You know, if that ball doesn't find his dribble, Cabrera dead in his tracks. You know, Reyes is still running around the bases, and who knows, maybe that ignites this big crowd of almost 50,000. 2 down here in the home half of the 7th. Emilio Bonifacio 1 for 2 on the night with a double. And you know, Bonifacio had a hard hit ball in that 2nd inning. But it didn't amount to anything. 2-out hit put runners at 2nd and 3rd, but Reyes grounded out to end that inning. 1 hop smash to 2nd, and Jason Kipnis takes care of that. Joe Smith, a perfect 7th. We'll go to the 8th in Toronto. 4-1 Cleveland. Telecast is presented by authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. We go to the 8th inning. 4-1. Indians on top. Downtown Toronto lit up for opening night. Sky-high expectations here in Toronto, but so far the Indians have kept this crowd muffled. Solid pitching and some timely hitting. Now Nick Swisher 0 for 3 in his Indians debut. Struck out his last time up. A couple of ground outs in his first 2 tries against the knuckleballer R.A. Dickey, now facing the left-hander. So he'll turn around and bat from the right side. Pitch outside, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, they got their start tonight from their knuckleballer, who can, you know, certainly give you a different look. Tomorrow will be Brandon Morrow for the Blue Jays, a totally
end of the
different
spectrum,
guy.
huh?
Now let's go. He's throwing 94, 95. You're going to get the, you know, the fastball.
Swisher bangs it to short. Reyes slings it over one way. Earlier tonight, we gave you our keys to the game: get Bourne on base and let him run. Well, he got on base. He didn't have to run very fast because he came around on the Cabrera home run.
I think their patience against the knuckleballer, they did a nice job. I really think so. They got guys on base. They had some good swings. And then Justin Masterson, we saw when he was around that 92, 93, he had some good movement.
Michael Brantley illustrated that patience against the knuckleball in his first at bat. He waited back, singled up the middle, set up the Indians' first run of the season. 2 balls, no strikes. Three and 0 is the count. Just did catch the inside corner.
Yeah, a little crossfire right there because he gives you a sidearm angle. Tried to go away and missed the first 3 times. And then this one comes back inside, shaves the inside corner.
And that is ball 4. So Brantley walks for the second time tonight, and a 1-out base runner now for the Indians as Carlos Santana comes up.
Well, come on out and support your tribe. The first homestand will take place on Monday. The Yankees come to town. Their only time in this year. It'll be a 4-game series. And don't forget, there's 12-ounce beers that are now only $4. Hot dogs at $3 for every home game. So come on out. That'll be start Monday night, the 4-game series against the New York Yankees.
Now John Gibbons wants to go to his bullpen. The switch hitting Carlos Santana coming up. And he'll turn Santana around when we come back. Indians leading at 4-1. We're in the 8th inning. Tribe has a man on, 1 out. And right-hander Sergio Santos coming out of the Toronto bullpen. Only made it through 6 games last year before he went to the DL. Shoulder surgery followed, and now the man who was acquired to be their closer is sort of their backup plan.
Yeah.
But Casey Jansen also has a bit of a gimpy shoulder, so they've got 2 or 3 fallback plans.
Jansen ended up coming back and doing a nice job in the closer's role last year. That's why he is going to close this year after Santos missed most of the year. But you're right. A year ago when they got him from the White Sox,
hammered into the corner. Brantley flying around second, on his way to third. Bautista with a great arm hits the cutoff man, and Brantley gets stopped at third base. So the double by Santana has Indians at second and third, and one out.
Tell you what, Carlos Santana gets on top of a high fastball right here, and I mean ropes it. You don't throw it by him, and he got all of it. That was above the belt. That was letter high. Drilled it down into the corner, and by the time they retrieve it, it'll be second and third. Brantley on his way to third. That'll bring the infield in, trying to cut off the run now. And Mark Reynolds is going to get an opportunity.
Reynolds 0 for 2, walked and scored back in the second.
Nice time to put another one on the board. Make it a 5-1 lead.
Another reason why John Gibbons chose, at least initially, to go with Jansen in the closer's role and keep Santos in that secondary role. One, Jansen did a great job last year. Two, Santos, he's still relatively new at this. Remember, he was a position player who converted to pitcher.
Right.
And then suddenly had a lot of success at the back end of the bullpen.
Yeah, and then you have to go back and ask, why did Chicago trade him after he had a very good year with the White Sox?
Reynolds fouling it back. The off-speed pitch just couldn't hold up enough. And it's 0-2. Trying to wait back.
He ended up having 30 saves in 2011 for the White Sox. They chose not to bring him back. Santos, a good slider. See if he goes to it looking for a strikeout here is what he's looking for. There it is.
Reynolds got a piece, but Aaron Sevilla holds on. 2 down.
Look at that slider going straight down. Almost like a curveball. That's too big to be a slider, but it's a good breaking ball out of the zone. Gets the strikeout, exactly what he was looking for.
Tonight's box score brought to you by your Northern Ohio Hyundai dealers. As Drupal Cabrera with a big 2-run homer. Brantley, Santana, Chisnall, Stubbs, each with a hit. Lonnie 1 for 3 with an RBI. Interesting in that Sergio Santos wears number 21, not because of a favorite baseball player, but because his favorite player when he was growing up was Deion Sanders. Prime time. Line foul out of play.
Well, like you said, he was an everyday player, so he wasn't a pitcher at that time, or he probably would not have liked Deion Sanders.
Stay tuned after the ball game for Indians Live. All your post-game coverage right here on Sports Time Ohio. Al Pulaski, Jason Stanford. Katie will have reacts from down in the clubhouse. Second and third. 2 down. Tribe up 4-1. Santos trying to get out of a sticky jam here. And he strikes out Chisholm. Back-to-back Ks on the Blue Jays right-hander. And the Indians strand a pair in scoring position. Middle of the 8th, 4-1 Indians. Indians by 3, bottom of the 8th inning, top of the order for Toronto. And Vinny Pastano will be the third Indians pitcher to work tonight. A season ago in 70 games, he had 3 wins, a .257 ERA, and held the opposition to a paltry .207 batting average. He's got Jose Reyes, Melky Cabrera, and Jose Batista to deal with. And should anybody get on, potentially Edwin Encarnacion. Pastano pitched for Team USA in the WBC.
Well, Smitty came on, had a nice easy 7th inning. Now he's handing it off to Vinny Pastano.
Fastball, strike 1 to Reyes. Reyes walked in the first. He's grounded out, flied out since then. And a slider over the outside corner. And it's 0-2. About 12 miles an hour difference.
Well, that's normally Pastano. He comes out, he pounds the strike zone. And the key is getting left-handers out for him as well. You guys have been in Toronto a while, haven't you? Maybe they haven't found any razor blades. He's ready to grow a beard. It's as cold out, you may want to. Keep your face warm.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Reyes leading off the bottom of the 8th. And this is hit down the right field line. And Stubbs makes a great diving catch, slamming into that side wall and hangs on. Now is he okay? He appears to be just fine. Boy, he ran out of room in a blink of an eye.
He caught up to that ball. His speed, that ball got in on Reyes a little bit, but his speed, but he's closing in on you know, never playing in this ballpark before. He knows he's got to get down and slide, and then looks like he catches a knee right to that point that comes out. Although it's padded, still has to hurt. There's the knee going directly into the corner, but a nice concentration and making the catch for out number 1.
That's a pretty jarring hit on that leg.
Defense tonight.
But you're right, that was an outstanding play. I didn't think it was going to stay fair. And you're right, Stubbs ran himself right into it. What a play, 1 down. Now Melky Cabrera takes a fastball for a strike.
Well, some of the things I think that we're going to get a chance to see is that outfield run. We've talked about it. But tonight we had an opportunity to see the infield defense. Stubbs right there shows he outran a ball.
Get on the ground to first, Nick Swisher. Nice room service hop, takes it himself, 2 down. Now the defense has been at times spectacular tonight.
That's the play of the game right there with the bases loaded, nobody out. They turn the double play and Toronto gets a run across. Jason Kipnis ranging far to his left, gets up. That was a leadoff man. Swisher, same inning, makes a play over at first base. And now Stubbs, leadoff batter, sliding, making a catch. There's the out.
Fastball took off.
There's 5 outs in the ball game right there because of good defense.
Jose Batista singled in the first, walked in the third, called out on strikes his last time up. Swings at a low fastball, comes up empty, 1-1. That last 2 pitches, great examples of when you tell the audience you have to keep the ball down. That's when you say down, this is what you mean by down there.
See, because you really have to work those legs to go down and hit the ball. That's why you see so many balls hit on the ground when it's down there. Tough to do damage to a pitch when it is down in that area.
And that's why a low fastball at the knees, especially away, is just
probably the toughest hit to hit in baseball. A well-located heater.
Almost went after it, but he checked. Now, a longtime baseball man told me once, nobody in this game makes a living on fastballs out, on the black, as
Down
they say.
Away.
You just can't do it.
Can't hit it.
All right, so the string is out for Jose Bautista with 2 down in the bottom of the 8th. And the payoff pitch from Pistano swung on and missed. He blew it by him upstairs, and the Blue Jays go 1-2-3. So the Indians pitching continues to hum along here in the opener. With a 4-1 lead after Vinny Pistano worked a perfect 1-2-3 8th inning, striking out Jose Bautista to end it. Now Brett Cecil will be the 4th Blue Jays pitcher to work tonight. The left-hander has bounced between the rotation and the bullpen throughout his career. Last year, you see, in 21 games, he had 9 starts. He'll be facing Drew Stubbs, Michael Bourne, and Asdrubal Cabrera.
He's got the fog lamps on tonight. That's
almost look like the old-fashioned rec specs. Remember those?
The Angels used to wear those. Was it Weber? Ben Weber or something?
Ben Weber. Good call. There it was.
Well, Stubbs with the first 2-out RBI base hit for the Indians this evening, back in the 2nd. And a fine running catch in the bottom of the 8th. Watch it.
Look out. The bat goes flying down beyond the dugout. Caroms into the seats, but everybody's all right.
I wonder if this Canadian pine tar is as sticky as it is back in Cleveland, because
that's
we saw
Kipnis.
Yeah, that's Kipnis's bat went into the seats. That one went a lot farther. That's what they, right there, that little stick there is they call the claw. And that really is stuff that makes that bat stick, but you can see that one takes off, and he's going to go reload.
Well, part of that issue becomes so many guys are down at the very bottom of the bat. Sometimes they only have one hand and maybe a couple of fingers.
And sometimes those guys, there's some bats that don't have knobs, so, and they're slick. They're brand new bats, I'm sure.
Call to strike looked a little low.
You get a new shipment in to start the year, and you want to doctor them up and get them ready for that season to start. It takes a little while to season those things. A little rosin, a little pine tar. Good luck when you're outside and it's cold.
Fouled right back. So Stubbs stays alive with a 1-ball, 2-strike count. On a play to the right. He's hanging in there. Indians Live comes your way following the ball game tonight. Al and Jason will have the highlights from the studio. Katie will have reactions from down in the clubhouse. Rick and I will have final thoughts. It all comes your way right after the ball game here on Sports Time Ohio.
Yep.
Stubbs couldn't hold up. He goes around, and a strikeout for out number 1. Here's the answer now to our AT&T trivia question. 4 pitchers in Indians history have 5 or more opening day starts. And here they are.
Oh, Lemon, Mr. Feller, Stan Kovalevsky, and CeCe. Tonight was Masterson's second.
Bourne chops one up the middle. Bonifacio, the second baseman, unloads in a hurry, 2 down. Late innings this year are brought to you by Captain Morgan Rum. Raise a glass, always in moderation. Now, Rick was talking about the pine tar and how when you get in the cold weather, that can be an issue. The good news for the Indians, opening on the road. Hopefully by the time the team returns home, the weather's going to turn in Cleveland because it's been miserable for a long stretch here. But just taking a peek at the long-range forecast, Monday they're calling for 50 degrees, Tuesday 55, so that's a lot better than 32, which is what it is right now outside. We can handle that.
Yeah, will it be that temperature at night, though?
No problem.
Oh, yeah, nice wink. I saw you. I'm going to tell the people at home and give me a big wink.
Brett Cecil trying to make it a 1-2-3 inning. Misses up and away. Chris Perez ready to go in the Indians bullpen. As Dribble Cabrera, the big hit of the night for the Tribe. And he hits one high in the air, deep center. Back is Rasmus. He's got room, and he'll make the catch. The Indians go 1-2-3. And now Chris Perez will be coming on to try and save game number 1 when we come back. Wednesday on Sports Time Ohio. Don't miss All Bets Are Off at 3 p.m. Bruce Drennan will be joined by Blue Jackets coach Todd Richards. Boy, good season down in Columbus. They're only a point out of that 8th and final playoff spot in the Western Conference. Wednesday at 3 on Sports Time Ohio. Bottom of the 9th here in Toronto. Chris Perez. A season ago, 39 saves. He's got a 3-run lead here. He'll face Edwin Encarnacion, Adam Lynn, and J.P. Arencibia. Encarnacion is 0 for 1. He's been hit by a pitch and he has walked. Chris Perez tonight looking for his 100th save as a Cleveland Indian. More than anything else, he's just trying to pick up where everybody else has left off. Masterson retired the last 11 in a row. Joe Smith retired all 3 he faced. Vinny Pastano, all 3 that he faced in the 8th inning. 2 balls and a strike.
Another spring where Perez was shut down. He had some shoulder issues this year and missed some time, but felt that he had enough time to get ready. Just don't, right now he may be having a tendency to rush a little bit, as he can. This is a max effort guy.
Fastball strike on the outside corner. And a full count. In the air, right field. Back is Stubbs with room. 1 down. Chris Perez, 2-time All-Star now. And he's closing in on Jose Mesa for 3rd place on the Indians' all-time save list. Mesa with 104. Adam Lynn, 0 for 3, and he hit into that big double play in the 3rd inning. But that's one of those, if you're the hitter after a ball game, it's not like you beat yourself up. He hit it right on the screws.
Actually, you're upset because the guy makes a terrific play to catch that ball. How many times you'll see a ball deflect off his glove and trickle into the outfield for a couple of RBIs, and the inning continues to go. When someone picks you like that, you're upset you didn't get a hit.
Right back to the screen. And the count 1-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. 1 down here in the 9th. Didn't miss by much, but now a full count. JP Arancibia waiting on deck. The payoff pitch is fouled out of play. In the air, left field. In comes Brantley. 2 down, 1 to right, 1 to left. And it's down to JP Arancibia for Toronto. And a fastball paints the outside corner for strike 1. That one ran up and in. the gap, right center field. Stubbs can't cut it off. And into second base with a 2-out double is J.P. Arancibia, keeping Toronto's hopes alive here in the bottom of the ninth.
Well, plugs the gap in right center field. The fastball out over the plate. You remember when Masterson was pitching to him tonight, they ran everything inside. You see, you give him a little swinging room, and that was a four-seam fastball. He did a little damage. He stayed on the baseball, hit it right where it was pitched. So Arancibia keeps their hopes alive.
Colby Rasmus taking the strike. He is 0 for 2. He has walked and struck out twice. The Indians are trying to end a 4-year opening day losing streak. They last won on opening day back in 08. They're 1 out away from securing this one. And Rasmus looks at a strike. It's 0-2. Justin Masterson started tonight for the Tribe, had a lot of traffic in the first 3 innings, but he weaved his way through trouble, allowing just 1 run, and then retired the last 11 Blue Jays in a row. Swung on, foul tipped into the glove of Santana, and the game is over. Chris Perez nails it down for the Indians as they stop a 4-year opening day losing streak, beating the Blue Jays tonight here 4-1 in Terry Francona's first game as manager of the Cleveland Indians. Really a team victory all the way around when you think about what Masterson did from the starting role. 3 relievers combining for 1 hit shutout relief. You think about the big home run hit by Asdrubal Cabrera, the RBI ground out by Chisenhall that got him on the board first, the 2-out RBI hit by Stubbs, the tremendous defense played by a number of different people. Everybody had a hand in this one.